The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council had been called with unprecedented urgency. Representatives from 36 spacefaring civilizations gathered in the ancient chamber on Centauri Prime, their usual diplomatic posturing forgotten in the face of shocking news from the Outer Rim. High Commander Zach Still of the Exploration Fleet stood before the assembly, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation as he projected the sensor readings. "These vessels were detected approaching the Perseus Arm," he announced, his translator struggling to convey his disbelief. "Each one measures roughly 15 kilometers in length. There are 7 of them." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A Centaurian elder raised her tendrils in the gesture of doubt. "Impossible. No known civilization has built ships of that scale since the precursors vanished." "That's not the most extraordinary part," Zach Still continued. "Our preliminary scans indicate these vessels originated from Earth." The chamber erupted in chaos. Earth was considered a backwater world, its inhabitants barely spacefaring by galactic standards. The humans had only achieved faster-than-light travel within the last century, and their longest-range vessels were crude things that could barely reach neighboring star systems. Ambassador Lyra of the Arcturus Confederation rose from her seat, her bioluminescent markings flashing with skepticism. "Commander, are you suggesting that humans, who have never built anything larger than an orbital station, have somehow constructed 7 vessels larger than most cities?" "The evidence is irrefutable," Zach Still replied. "But what's truly remarkable is the age of these ships. Based on our temporal readings, they've been traveling for over 1,000 Earth years." Silence fell over the chamber as the implications sank in. 1,000 years ago, humans were still burning fossil fuels and launching primitive chemical rockets. How could they have built something so massive? And why? The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Kelvin, a xenoanthropologist specializing in Earth studies, stepped forward. His holographic form flickered as he addressed the council. "I believe I can explain. These aren't just ships, they're generation ships. The humans began building them before they had faster-than-light technology." He projected a series of historical documents recovered from Earth's archives. 50 generations ago, when humanity realized how vast the galaxy was and how limited their technology was, they didn't wait for FTL travel to be invented. Instead, they embarked on what they called Project Exodus, building massive self-contained worlds that could sustain human life for centuries of sublight travel. The council members watched in stunned silence as Dr. Kelvin showed them the construction process. Entire nations had pooled their resources. Millions of humans had dedicated their lives to building these colossal vessels, knowing they would never see them completed. Generation after generation continued the work, improving and expanding the original designs. "Each ship carries approximately 1 million humans," Dr. Kelvin explained. "They've been living, dying, and being born in space for a millennium. Maintaining their course to distant star systems, we've only recently begun to explore ourselves." Ambassador Lyra's markings had shifted to a deep blue of amazement. But why? Why commit to such a lengthy journey when they could have waited for better technology? "Because that's what humans do," Dr. Kelvin replied simply. "They see an impossible challenge and decide to overcome it, no matter the cost. When faced with the vastness of space, they didn't wait for a perfect solution. They chose the hard path, knowing it would take 50 generations to reach their destination." High Commander Zach Still's crystalline form had settled into a pattern of respect. And now these vessels, launched by their ancestors using primitive technology, are approaching their target systems just as humanity has achieved FTL travel. "The coincidence is remarkable." "Not coincidence," corrected Dr. Kelvin. "Planning." The humans knew that by the time their generation ships reached their destinations, their civilization would have advanced significantly. They planned for multiple scenarios, including the possibility of faster-than-light travel being developed during the journey. The Centaurian elder who had spoken earlier now raised her tendrils in the gesture of acknowledgement. "These humans have achieved something unprecedented. They didn't just build ships, They built a legacy that spans 50 generations. They turned their very limitation into an advantage, creating societies that could survive and thrive in space for centuries. As the Council debated how to respond to this revelation, a message arrived from the generation ships themselves. Dr. Kelvin projected it for all to see. Greetings, citizens of the galaxy. We are the children of Earth's greatest dream, carrying humanity's hope among the stars. We come in peace, seeking new homes and new friendships. Our journey has been long, but we have never lost sight of our purpose. We are humanity's past and future, and we look forward to joining the galactic community. The message was signed, Captain Sarah Chen, Generation Ship Horizon, speaking for the Exodus fleet. The council chamber buzzed with excitement and apprehension. Humanity had just demonstrated that they were far more capable and far more patient than anyone had imagined. The galaxy would never see them the same way again. Dr. Elena Martinez stood at the window of her office in the Global Space Initiative headquarters, watching the sunset paint the sky in brilliant hues of orange and purple. The year was 2157, and humanity had just received the most humbling news in its history. They were not alone in the universe, but they were hopelessly behind. The first alien probe had arrived 6 months ago, carrying data about civilizations that had mastered faster-than-light travel centuries ago. While the galaxy teemed with life and advanced technology, humanity's primitive propulsion systems meant they were effectively stranded in their own solar system. "They're calling it the Great Filter," said James Chen, her deputy director, as he entered the office with a stack of holographic displays. "The media is having a field day. Humanity, stuck in the cosmic dark ages." Elena turned from the window, her expression determined. "Show me the latest simulations." James activated the displays, filling the air with projections of massive cylindrical structures. The engineering team has refined the design. Each vessel would be essentially a rotating cylinder 15 kilometers long, creating artificial gravity through centrifugal force. The outer shell would be comprised of layers of self-repairing metamaterials. And the timeline. James hesitated. Best estimates suggest it would take 50 years just to build the first ship. The entire project. We're looking at a minimum of 150 years before launch. Helena nodded, having expected this answer. And how many generations to reach the nearest potentially habitable systems? At maximum sustainable velocity, without faster-than-light capability. Approximately 50 generations. 1,000 years of travel time. The numbers should have been devastating. A project that would span over a millennium, requiring resources beyond anything humanity had ever marshaled, all for an uncertain future among the stars. But Elena saw something different in those numbers. Hope. "Call the World Council," she said. "It's time to present Project Exodus." The presentation chamber of the World Council was packed 2 weeks later. Representatives from every nation on Earth gathered to hear what the Global Space Initiative had proposed. Elena stood before them, her heart racing, but her voice steady. "We stand at a crossroads," she began. "We've learned that the galaxy is vast and filled with wonders, but we lack the technology to reach them. We could wait, hope that someday we'll discover faster-than-light travel, or we could choose another path." The holographic displays activated, showing the designs for the generation ships. Project Exodus is not just about building ships. It's about building worlds, self-sustaining ecosystems that can support human life for centuries of space travel. It's about ensuring humanity's future among the stars, no matter how long the journey takes. Questions erupted from the assembly. How would they fund such a massive undertaking? How would they select who would go? How could they ensure the survival of a society in space for 50 generations? Elena had answers ready. The project would require global cooperation on an unprecedented scale. Every nation would contribute resources and expertise. The ships would carry a carefully selected cross-section of humanity, not just scientists and engineers, but farmers, teachers, artists, and craftspeople. Every skill needed to maintain a civilization would be represented. The greatest challenge, Alina explained, won't be technical. It will be cultural. We must create societies that can maintain their purpose and unity across 50 generations of space travel. Every child born aboard these ships must understand their place in this grand journey. The debate raged for weeks. Critics called it impossible, insane, a waste of resources. But something about the project captured humanity's imagination. The idea of building ships that would sail between the stars for a millennium, carrying the hopes and dreams of Earth to distant worlds, resonated deeply with people around the world. 1 year later, construction began on the first-generation ship. Alina stood on the observation deck of the Lunar Construction Facility, watching as massive robotic assemblers laid the first sections of the outer hull. Beside her, James Chen's grandson, Michael, was recording everything for the project archives. "Do you really think we can do it?" Michael asked. "Build something that will last for 50 generations." Alina smiled, thinking of all the challenges ahead. "We've already begun. Every person working on this project knows their children, and their children's children, will continue what we've started. We're not just building ships, we're building a legacy that will span a millennium." As she spoke, more construction pods moved into position, their lights twinkling against the darkness of space. Somewhere out there, alien civilizations went about their business, unaware that humanity had embarked on one of the most ambitious projects in galactic history. "They think we're primitive," Alina said, "limited by our technology. But we'll show them something they've never seen before, the power of human determination across 50 generations. We may not have faster-than-light travel, but we have patience, creativity, and the will to reach for the stars, no matter how long the journey takes." The first section of hull gleamed in the sunlight, a testament to human ingenuity and hope. Alina touched the window, her reflection overlapping with the distant construction site. "This is how we begin," she whispered, "not with a leap across the stars, but with a promise to keep walking, generation after generation, until we reach our destination." The gardens of Generation Ship Horizon stretched for nearly a kilometer, a verdant expanse of carefully maintained ecosystems that helped sustain the vessel's 1,000,000 inhabitants. Kai Chen, a 35th-generation descendant of the original Project Exodus team, walked among the towering hydroponics arrays, performing his daily check of the atmospheric recycling systems. At 700 years into their journey, life aboard the Horizon had evolved into something unique in human history. The massive ship had become its own world, with traditions and customs shaped by centuries of space travel. Every child born aboard learned not only the technical skills needed to maintain their artificial world, but also the sacred responsibility they carried to ensure humanity's dream of reaching the stars would live on. Recording daily log, year 712, day 183. Kai spoke into his neural interface. Oxygen production remains at optimal levels. The new hybrid wheat strain is performing better than expected. The ancestral seeds continue to adapt to our artificial environment. A group of children ran past him, their laughter echoing through the garden chamber. They were playing Star Seekers, a traditional game that taught them about their destination star system while helping them burn off energy. Kai smiled, remembering playing the same game when he was their age. "Hey, Uncle Kai," called out Maya, his niece and a promising young engineer. She was monitoring the soil composition readings at a nearby station. "Have you heard? The Navigation Guild picked up some strange signals during the last deep space scan." Kai's interest peaked. The Navigation Guild was responsible for maintaining their course and monitoring space around them. Strange signals could mean anything from natural phenomena to something else. He made his way to the central hub, where the ship's various guilds gathered to share information and make decisions. The Horizon Society had evolved into a complex system of interconnected guilds, each responsible for different aspects of ship operations and cultural preservation. The hub was buzzing with activity. Representatives from all 7 major guilds were present. Navigation, engineering, agriculture, education, arts, medicine, and history. At the center of the chamber, Guildmaster Sophia Raman was presenting the latest findings. The signals appear to be artificial in nature, she explained, projecting a holographic representation of the data. They're unlike anything recorded in our ancestral databases. We believe we may have detected evidence of alien civilizations. A murmur ran through the assembled guild members. While their ancestors had known about alien life, no one aboard the Horizon had ever encountered it directly. 7 centuries of isolation had turned such knowledge into something approaching legend. What do we do? Someone asked. The original mission protocols didn't account for first contact during transit. Kai stepped forward. As keeper of the garden systems, he was also a member of the ship's Council of Preservation. We should consult the archive. The archive was the heart of their civilization, a vast database containing not just technical information, but the accumulated wisdom, art, and culture of both Earth and their shipboard society. It was maintained by the History Guild, who had the sacred duty of preserving humanity's past while recording their ongoing journey. In the archive chamber, holographic displays showed the ship's journey through space. The thin blue line marked their progress across the galaxy, now merely 3/4 of the way to their destination. But more importantly, it showed something their ancestors couldn't have predicted. They were entering a region of space that was far from empty. Our ancestors launched these ships believing we would be alone in the void, said Elder Lin, the archive's chief curator. But look here. She pointed to recent sensor data showing evidence of artificial structures and energy signatures. We're approaching the edges of inhabited space. The implications were enormous. The Horizon and its 6 sister ships had been designed to establish human colonies in distant star systems. But if those systems were already inhabited, perhaps this is a test, suggested Maya, who had followed her uncle to the archive. The ancestors spoke of humanity's place among the stars. Maybe proving we can maintain our purpose and unity across 50 generations was part of showing we're ready to join the galactic community. Kai looked at the young engineer with pride. This was why the Education Guild spent so much time teaching the ship's history, so each new generation could understand and reinterpret their mission as circumstances changed. The Council of Preservation met through the ship's night cycle, debating their course of action. The other generation ships reported similar readings. All 7 vessels had maintained contact through quantum-entangled communications, allowing them to coordinate their actions despite the vast distances between them. Finally, a decision was reached. They would continue their journey, but prepare for the possibility of contact with alien civilizations. The Education Guild would begin incorporating what they knew about alien species from the ancestral records into their curriculum. The Engineering Guild would review the ship's communication systems, ensuring they could interact with different technologies. As Kai returned to his gardens the next morning, he felt the weight of history more heavily than usual. Their ancestors had launched these ships into the unknown, trusting future generations to carry their dream forward. Now, 7 centuries later, that dream was evolving into something even more extraordinary. He watched as Maya taught a group of children about the symbiotic relationships between plants in the garden. These systems work together, she explained, just like we all work together to keep our ship running, to keep humanity's dream alive. The children listened intently, their eyes wide with wonder. They were the 36th generation born aboard the Horizon, and soon they would face challenges their ancestors never imagined. But Kai wasn't worried. Every generation had adapted, had found new meaning in their journey while honoring the original vision that launched them among the stars. In the artificial sky above the gardens, light panels simulated a sunrise, beginning another day in humanity's 1,000-year journey. The Horizon continued its course through space, carrying within it not just people, but a living testament to human perseverance, adaptation, and hope. The alien vessel appeared without warning, materializing from what seemed to be a fold in space itself. Its design was organic, almost crystalline, dwarfing even the massive generation ships with its presence. On the Horizon's bridge, Captain Sarah Chen watched the holographic display with a mixture of awe and apprehension. 750 years of isolation were about to end. "All guilds report ready," announced her first officer, Marcus Raman. The ship's society had spent months preparing for this moment, but centuries of simulation couldn't quite capture the reality of facing an advanced alien civilization. The alien ship's energy signature pulsed in patterns that the Horizon's sensors interpreted as communication attempts. The Communications Guild, led by Dr. Yuki Tanaka, worked feverishly to decode the signals using protocols preserved from Earth's first contact archives. "Captain," Yuki called out, her hands dancing over the neural interface. "They're transmitting in multiple formats. One of them matches our ancestral records of the Galactic Standard." Sarah nodded, her heart racing, but her voice steady. "Put it through." The alien message materialized in the air before them, translating into human language. "Generation Ship Horizon, you have entered monitored space. Your vessel has been identified as originating from Earth. Please confirm your identity and purpose." Sarah took a deep breath, thinking of the 50 generations that had led to this moment. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Generation Ship Horizon. We are descendants of Earth's Project Exodus, carrying the legacy of humanity among the stars. We come in peace, seeking new homes and cooperation with galactic civilization." There was a pause that seemed to stretch for eternity. Then the alien vessel's response came. "Captain Chen, I am High Commander Zach Still of the Galactic Exploration Fleet. Your arrival has been anticipated. The Galactic Council requests your presence." The bridge crew exchanged glances. Their ancestors' records mentioned the Galactic Council, but much could have changed in a millennium. Sarah felt the weight of generations on her shoulders as she responded. "We would be honored, High Commander. However, our vessel cannot match your FTL capabilities." A sound like crystalline chimes echoed through the bridge. Alien laughter. "Captain Chen, your arrival has caused quite a stir in the galaxy. We've spent months preparing for this meeting. If you accept, we can extend our ship's quantum field to transport your vessel." Sarah consulted with the ship's guilds. The Engineering Guild confirmed their systems could handle the stress, while the History Guild provided context from their archives. Finally, she made her decision. "We accept, High Commander. The Horizon stands ready." What followed was beyond anything their ancestors could have imagined. The alien vessel extended a shimmering field of energy that enveloped the horizon, and suddenly the stars blurred around them. When they emerged, they found themselves in orbit around a world of impossible beauty, its rings glowing with artificial light. "Welcome to Centauri Prime," Zach Still transmitted, "the seat of the Galactic Council." The next few days were a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings and cultural exchange. The council chambers were filled with representatives from dozens of spacefaring civilizations, all eager to meet the humans who had undertaken such an extraordinary journey. Dr. Kelvin, a xenoanthropologist who had studied Earth's history, served as their primary liaison. "Your arrival has challenged many assumptions about developing civilizations," he explained to Sarah. "No species has ever attempted something of this scale without FTL technology. The dedication required to maintain a society's purpose across 50 generations. It's unprecedented." Sarah stood with her senior staff in the Council's Great Observatory, watching as the other 6th-generation ships arrived, escorted by their own alien vessels. Together, they represented humanity's greatest achievement, not just the technological feat of building the ships, but the cultural triumph of maintaining their mission across a millennium of space travel. "Tell me, Captain," asked Ambassador Lyra, her bioluminescent patterns shifting with curiosity, "how did your people maintain their unity of purpose for so long? Most species can barely maintain cultural continuity across a few generations, let alone 50. Sarah gestured to Maya, who had joined them as a representative of the younger generation. The young engineer stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. "We are taught from birth that we are part of something greater than ourselves. Each generation adds to our story while honoring those who came before. We're not just travelers or colonists. We're the guardians of humanity's dream to reach the stars. The alien delegates were visibly moved by her words. Even Dr. Kelvin's holographic form flickered with emotion. "You've done more than reach the stars," he said softly. "You've proven that determination and patience can overcome any technological limitation. Your journey may well change how the galaxy views emerging civilizations." As they spoke, news arrived that would reshape their mission once again. Earth, in the millennium since their departure, had indeed developed FTL technology. Their civilization had spread to nearby star systems and was now requesting coordinates to rendezvous with the generation ships. "Your ancestors launched these ships knowing they might never know if you succeeded," Ambassador Lyra observed. "Now, through paths they could never have predicted, their descendants from both Earth and the ships will reunite among the stars." Sarah looked out at the glittering expanse of space, thinking of all the generations that had lived and died aboard the horizon, each playing their part in this grand journey. "Perhaps that's the greatest lesson we can offer the galaxy," she said, "that the path to the stars isn't just about technology. It's about the courage to begin a journey that you may never see completed, trusting that future generations will carry your dream forward." 1 year after the arrival of the generation ships, the Great Hall of the Galactic Council hummed with anticipation. Representatives from hundreds of civilizations gathered to witness an unprecedented event, the formal integration of both Earth's FTL-capable civilization and the generation ship societies into the galactic community. The chamber's crystalline walls reflected the diverse assemblage of species present. In one section sat the Earth delegation, their sleek uniforms bearing the insignia of a united human civilization that had spread across nearby star systems. Beside them were the representatives from the generation ships, their clothing incorporating designs that had evolved over centuries of space travel. High Commander Zach Still, now a strong advocate for human inclusion in galactic affairs, stood at the center of the chamber. Today, his crystalline form pulsed with emotion. "We recognize not one, but two branches of humanity that have reached the stars through radically different paths. Their story has already begun to transform our understanding of civilization's potential." Dr. Kelvin, who had become the foremost expert on human achievement, activated a holographic display showing the journey of the generation ships alongside Earth's independent development of FTL technology. "What we witness here is unprecedented in galactic history. One species, two parallel paths to the stars, each demonstrating remarkable forms of innovation." The impact of humanity's achievement had rippled through galactic society. The generation ships had become living laboratories, studied by xenoanthropologists and social scientists from across the galaxy. Their success in maintaining cultural continuity and technological progression over 50 generations had challenged fundamental assumptions about societal development. Maya, now serving as the Horizon's chief engineer, presented findings that had astonished the galactic scientific community. The generation ships had developed unique solutions to long-term space travel that even FTL-capable civilizations found valuable. Their advanced recycling systems, sustainable agriculture techniques, and social structures designed for closed environments offered new approaches to space colonization. "Our ancestors built these ships with primitive technology," Maya explained, "but they understood something fundamental about human nature. They knew that technology alone doesn't ensure survival. It's the ability to adapt, to maintain purpose across generations, to build societies that can endure isolation while staying true to their mission." The Earth delegation, led by Admiral Chen, a distant relative of the original Project Exodus team, shared how knowledge of the generation ships had influenced their own development. "When we achieved FTL travel, we could have abandoned the search for our long-lost cousins," he said. "Instead, their journey became a symbol of human determination. Every breakthrough, every colony we established, was inspired by their continuing mission." Ambassador Lyra, whose initial skepticism had turned to deep respect, addressed the council. The generation ships remind us that there are many paths to the stars. We had become complacent, believing that technological advancement followed a predictable pattern. Humanity has shown us that determination and innovation can take unexpected forms. The Council proceeded with a historic vote, unanimously accepting both Earth and the Generation Ship Societies as full members of the galactic community. But the ceremony that followed revealed an even more profound transformation. Captain Sarah Chen of the Horizon and Admiral Chen stood together, representing the reunited branches of humanity. Behind them, holographic displays showed the 7 generation ships in orbit alongside Earth's modern fleet. The contrast was striking. The massive, city-sized generation ships beside the sleek, FTL-capable vessels of modern Earth. Our ancestors launched these ships into the unknown. Sarah addressed the Council, not knowing if we would survive, let alone succeed. They couldn't have imagined that their descendants would reunite among the stars, or that our journey would help reshape humanity's place in the galaxy. The impact extended beyond human achievement. Inspired by the generation ship's success, other emerging civilizations began proposing alternative approaches to space exploration. The Council established new protocols for evaluating and assisting developing species, acknowledging that technological advancement wasn't the only measure of civilization's potential. Research teams from across the galaxy flocked to study the generation ships, now permanent monuments to human ingenuity. The ship's gardens, workshops, and living quarters, sustained for a millennium through countless innovations, became training grounds for long-term space missions. But perhaps the most profound change was philosophical. The story of 50 generations maintaining their purpose across 1,000 years of space travel became a testament to the power of shared vision and cultural continuity. Species that had long dismissed slower-than-light travel began exploring the value of taking the longer path, recognizing that the journey itself could transform a civilization. As the ceremony concluded, Maya stood with her children in the Horizon's garden chamber, now a living museum. The same plants that had sustained life aboard the ship for centuries continued to grow, tended by new generations who understood their historic significance. Our ancestors didn't just build ships, she told them, touching the ancient soil that had nourished 50 generations. They built a bridge across time itself, connecting Earth's past to humanity's future among the stars. They proved that no journey is too long, no goal too distant, if we have the courage to take the first step and the wisdom to keep walking, generation after generation. Above them, through the ship's crystalline viewport, Earth's modern vessels maneuvered alongside alien ships, their lights twinkling against the darkness of space. The generation ships had completed their 1,000-year journey, but their legacy would endure for millennia to come. A reminder that the path to the stars is paved not just with technology, but with patience, determination, and an unwavering belief in the power of human potential.